So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Team Sheet Tantrum for tonight's game versus Brentford. Neil should be along fairly shortly, but as I was sitting here and the good news was coming in, I decided I better get on and chat to you all, seeing as you were all in the comments. And the good news is that Emi Martinez starts tonight, which is great. Great news for everybody. I hope. I hope he's well enough to be in there. He's pictured big and bright in the in the graphic as well. So I'll run you through the team. We've got Martinez in goal, Cash, Konza, Mings is the other big story, and Luca Dean. And then Bailey, Kamara, Tielemans, McGinn, Rogers, and Watkins. So Mings in for Pau. Debu starts. And Bailey is back in from the start. That's the big news for tonight. I'll run you through the substitutes there. We've got Olsen, Matson, Torres, Diego Carlos, Lamar Bogard, Ross Barkley, Emiliano Buendia, Jaden Philogene, and John Duran. So, what are we all thinking? It's a must-win game for me. Very, very happy to be seeing our world's number one in there, because the best thing can happen after a poor performance, which undoubtedly had a poor performance. He could have given away goals the other day, which happily he didn't. So he's back in the frame, and he's back between the sticks tonight. So I think we're all very, very happy with that. Neil will be joining us very, very shortly, I would imagine. And when he does, I will let him go off and talk about the team while I stick it up on screen. Is he there? Neil, can you hear us? There you go. Nearly. You're trying to move me. He's gone again. We'll get there. We'll get to your comments as well. A lot of people very happy that Tyrone Mings is back in the team as well. All very, very good. Hello.
I presume. I have no idea
How
what's
we doing?
going on.
Not only did he change his name, he's coming through a different camera there for a change, whatever's going on. I'm sure he'll sort it out here in a second. Jay says, I feel strangely optimistic, probably because what it would mean if we get 3 points tonight. I can't even imagine it. Yeah, we've got to get 3 points tonight. We really have. Neil, how are you? Now we're sucking diesel.
Frustrated. I think I am anyway. I'm sucking something. It feels like poison at the minute, but if it's diesel, I'll take it. I presume diesel is carcinogenic in its own way if you were to drink it.
I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
I wouldn't recommend it, no. Certainly.
The team there, Paddy. Similar enough to what we thought would happen. I'm going to be honest, I didn't expect Mings to come in for Pau. I probably expected Cash to drop out, and I expected Konza to go right back, and maybe Mings and Pau play together. But, you know, he's gone with the right and left footer in there as two centre halves. Bailey and this looks to me Bailey and Rogers and the wings, with McGinn up top with Watkins and Kamara and Tielemans inside there. I think it's very much a case of, you know, he's gone with what he's always said he wants to play his best players, his strongest players. That doesn't always mean that you're going to play the players that are in form. I think it's fair to say that Rogers and McGinn probably aren't in the best of form at the moment. So I can understand why they're starting based on based on what Unai Emery has said. But he's also been quoted as saying that, you know, he's going to have to rely on the likes of Emi Buendia to come in to take the load off off of Morgan Rogers as well. So let's see if that happens at some stage in this game today. But it's an expected enough lineup, I think, is how we will put it. Lots of horses on the bench to come in there, but that's the thing. At the start of the season, the horses coming out of the stable later on in the game were creating chances for us, putting chances away, scoring chances, changing games. That absolutely hasn't happened. That hasn't happened since probably Everton. I would say no. I know we had the Bayern Munich goal, but probably the Everton game. It hasn't happened since. So something needs to click there today, especially if players are coming off the bench. Something needs to click in the first 11. And with Brentford's away form and our home form, you would be expecting that Aston Villa should have. And I know it's not easy after the run they've been on, but Villa should be stronger in this game today. And also, Paddy, as you mentioned, as a massive flies around my room. I'm sure you mentioned. I'm damn glad to be seeing Emmy Martinez in goals anyway, as opposed to Robin Olsen. That is a huge positive, considering he's busted finger. So well done, Emmy. Play through the barrier. That's what I say.
Shall I go through the Brentford team, or do you want to call it up there?
I can try and bring it up there. Oh, isn't anyone from the bench, Paddy? I don't think we are. I was sure Onana and Ramsey are Oslaugher, as we say here in Ireland. That means they're absent. For anybody who is brushing up on their Irish. Brentford are supposed to be missing quite a few as well. We didn't mention it we didn't mention it at all, should I say, in the preview that we did. But Brentford are missing like 6 or 7 players as well. So the injury bug has certainly hit them. We need to capitalize on that. And I'm just about to bring up their team if I can here now at all. Share this window. That should do it. And here is the Brentford team. So they've got Flecken in goals, Van den Berg, Collins, Pinnock, Lewis Porter, Janlet, Yarmoliuk, the young Ukrainian, Damsgaard, Shade, Mbuemo, and Visa. I'm disappointed that Kevin Shade is in such good form as he is at the moment, and that top 3 is good. That top 3 is pacey, and I must say, one of the players in the Premier League that is getting the single most bang for his buck with regards to talent, to output in the whole lot of the Premier League, and has done for the last couple of years, is Visa. He's just always a thorn. He's always a thorn in every team's side, whether he comes off the bench or whether he starts. So that's a dangerous front 3. It'll be interesting to see what way they line up across the middle. What way that lines up, because look, it seems like they've got 3 centre halves, which they normally play with, but who's going to be the wide players? Is Shade going to be on one side? Is Yarmoliuk going to be on the other side, or is he going to play through the centre? It's going to be interesting here, because Lewis Potter, should I say, is going to be through the centre. Janlet is going to be through the centre. Damsgaard is going to be through the centre. So it's going to be interesting to see what way they set up, and to see if Villa can get around what's inevitably going to be a packed midfield area, and a midfield area where Brentford gets so much joy because of great players that they have there, like Damsgaard. I know he's not playing there. He's not in the squad tonight, but like Norgard, all those guys that, just as I said in the preview, Brentford find a Danish midfielder and he ends up being absolutely brilliant for them. Just fits their system for whatever reason. So Villa have a job to do tonight. Go out and beat the team with one of the worst away records in the league, and Villa will need to be on top form as well, because they need to keep that front 3 quiet.
Yeah, and the way I see it, it's a front 3 in possession and a midfield 5 out of possession. I think Damsgaard, Janelt, and Yarmoliuk will probably fill in the middle and make that very compact. Buemo off the right and Shad off the left, with Wissa kind of staying up top on his own. They're going to be very hard to play through, but if you look at do we go with that direct ball that Tyrone Mings has been so good for us in the past, picking out Watkins in wide spaces. It'll be interesting to see how that fares out. Pinnock is the one I think we can target. I'd love to see Girano up against Pinnock, because I reckon Pinnock would spend the day wrestling them to the ground. But like other than that, there's no weak link really in that team. Obviously, they're missing some players, but Lewis Potter and Vandenberg have done quite well for them since they come in there. Collectively, they haven't been great defensively, but individually, they're decent enough players.
Like, and I'm going to be honest, I know very little of all the teams in the Premier League. Brentford, I know the least about outside of maybe their first 15 players. Like, I got to go down through their substitutes. I have genuinely never heard of that substitute goalkeeper ever. Never even laid eyes on him and flicking through their team in Wikipedia. I have never seen the name Valdemarson ever in my life. Like, and I watch a lot of football. I do an awful lot of scouting and stuff like that. And the reason I'm bringing that up is that, like, Brentford are an incredibly well-run club, just like Brighton are an incredibly well-run club. They will pick players, they will pull players, they will find players, they will make their own players out of raw materials, essentially. And it's incredible the way that they've done this, because they have no reason to be in the Premier League. Like, there is no, like, whatever about Brighton being the big club in a decent sized city. You know, Brentford are in an area of high population or whatever, but there's so many clubs in and around 40-mile radius, 50-mile radius of them, you know, and it's incredible the job that they've done. You go down through their team there, they've got Vladimirson, Thiago, Carvalho, Ben Mee, our friend there. They've also got Megoma and Magoma on the bench. Once again, I'm not quite sure I can give any insight in either of those players. They have Konak, Trevitt, and Roerslev, who we know came on as right wing back against us some years ago and ended up, I think, scoring the winning goal in a 2-1 defeat, if I'm not mistaken. So again, I've got so much time for Brentford. The way that they're constructed almost from bottom to top by good, clear managerial structures from on the field and off the field. Cracking club. Cracking. No animosity to them, but I still want us to beat them fucking 55-0 tonight. You know, so
I have a little bit of animosity because they tended to beat us once we took Dean Smith on board. They tended to beat us.
Yeah.
And it annoyed me a little bit that we couldn't get one on them. They failed to beat us, I think, in the last 3 at Villa Park. Since we've both been in the Premier League, I'm not sure if they've beaten us. I think I read that stat today. Look, they have a great philosophy as a team. Their philosophy is get the wins at home and hope for the best when they go away, and try and make it difficult for the home team when they go away. They set themselves up very well. They've obviously got a really good manager, which annoys me too, because he seems to be a really good lad as well. Everybody seems to like him. And as we saw yesterday, they build the club from the bottom up, and they announced yesterday that every child would only pay a tenner into the G-Tech Community Stadium, which is fantastic. And look, we're in the position, obviously, that we've a load of history behind us, and we've got 40-odd thousand seats. So it's up to them to build their future, and it's a great way of doing it. But a very admirable club in a small but great stadium in London, and trying to attract fans and players when there's so much going on around them would be quite difficult, I'd imagine.
Paddy, the one player that I picked out and said I have never seen that name before in my life. Turns out I have. It turns out I mentioned him in a scouting podcast. Yet this will tell you what sleep deprivation does to you. Neil, we were linked to that goalkeeper. You definitely did a scouting series on him. I genuinely, I've done so many of them. That'll tell you. I don't remember it. But when I went, Davy, and I just brought it up on Wikipedia. Went, oh yeah, that guy from Elfsborg that everybody was in for. And he was supposed to be coming to Villa, and he never came, and then he ended up at Brentford. I stand corrected. I've lost more brain cells due to sleep deprivation in the last 6 to 8 months than most people will ever admit that they've lost. So that'll tell you there. Bit of a yeah. There we go. So a bit of a senior moment there for me. And there it goes. The one player that I actually picked out and made a big deal out of. Turns out I've mentioned him on the podcast before. So the old senility is kicking in very, very quickly. I had a question there for you, Paddy. I can see the comments there. A couple of people probably rightfully saying, when is Duran going to get a start? Once again, I stamped the tickets on the Ollie Watkins fan bus. Always have done. We'll even go back to the time, always have done since he's came in here. I would agree, but I still think it's time to play. Like, if you want Duran in the team, he's going to have to start probably with Watkins. I think that's how he gets a start. If it's to be starting, that he meaningfully continues on in the team as a starter in the team. Because I think that Ollie Watkins will be the starting striker in big games regardless. Whether you agree, whether you would agree with that, I think Unai would probably agree with it, but whether you agree with it or not, I think it probably rings true. Like Unai's talked about playing the two of them together. We haven't been able to find a way to do that. But then again, have we been as
substitution? Has he done it in the past?
Yeah.
Look, I think if Watkins misfires tonight, it's time to pull him out of the team and put a rocket up him. And if that's Saturday, so be it. But there'll come a time where he's gonna have to hook him, because it's just not happening. It's he's missing chances last year that he was putting away at will. Nobody can quite put their finger on it. He's come out of the Euros having scored arguably the most important goal of the competition, and he should be absolutely firing on all cylinders, but he's not. I don't know what people are putting that down to. Tiredness. Is it just a lack of? I just can't put my finger on what's going on, because I know if as a footballer coming out of a competition like that, you'd have to think he was probably the most valuable player after the Euros to come off the pitch for England. That value has dropped an awful lot in the last 7-8 weeks. It just hasn't dropped. He has got a couple of goals, all right, but just not to the extent that he should be taking them.
I think people would still fork out a hell of a lot of money for Ollie Watkins, and I still expect him to come good.
He's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money whether they play it or not. That's another story.
Yeah.
Look, it's got to come around at some stage. So, definitely not wishing it on him coming out of the team on Saturday. I hope he goes out and scores a hat-trick tonight and shushes everybody, because it's due. It's long overdue. And I know we're not the type of team that's scoring 3 goals, and I think I'd snap your hand off for 1-0 tonight, as much as I don't think it will be the way Brentford play. But yeah, we just need to get over the line tonight and get 3 points on the board and move on to Saturday.
Yeah. And again, I'm not singling out Neil Andrews, but like in a previous podcast we had, it was asked, what does Cash need to do for us to lose faith in it? Football for me doesn't work in losing faith with the player. It works with trying to figure out what, like when we discuss this, I'm trying to explain what I think Unai Emery is going to do. Not that I think that X player is better than Y player, or Y player is better than X, whatever. I think John Duran should have started tonight. I think John Duran should have probably started instead of John McGinn tonight, and we should have gone 2 up top. Thought we should have done that against Juventus as well. I thought we should have done that at the weekend against Chelsea. I think we should do that against teams that play 3 at the back. I think to do something along those lines. Maybe if it means playing Watkins off the left-hand side, natural winger and so on. I think that's probably that's what I'm saying.
I think I just said that I've lost faith because I believed he should have been left out tonight.
Exactly.
If that's what you call losing faith, I think it's just time. That for me, it's just standing down for a game to put a rocket up.
No, I didn't say. No, I was just addressing what Neil mentioned there.
Oh yeah, I know.
The reason I was bringing that up was that like Ollie Watkins is in with a chance, and will probably this season. I hope he does it this season, score 10 more goals in the league to get past Gabriel Bonheur and be our top goal scorer of all time. And that's why I think he's going to be in the team, not because we want him to be the top goal scorer, because he's proven he's done it in the past. And I absolutely believe that playing himself and Duran together, for me, would be something I would start to do now. I would push Watkins. I would have the two of them alternate, because Paul McAllister, I think, made a good point as well there a moment ago, that he said Duran's work rate isn't as good as Watkins. Duran runs around, but Duran comes like 20 yards too deep. At times, and he's raw in that point of view, and I don't expect him to be the complete footballer in that point of view for sure. So that's why I think that that Captain Chaos tag would be good to have him in there with having Ollie Watkins up top, but the team hasn't functioned that way, so I can understand why Unai hasn't done that. I actually think Unai is going to go away and buy a left winger. More, a lot of people are talking about right backs, right wingers. I think we'll see a left winger or a central creative midfielder come in January. May not be the big flashy name that we want, but I think that he wants to do that to stop us play or to have us playing with natural width, and that would probably limit the opportunities for us to play Ollie and Duran up top. And the reason we haven't done that is because I don't think Unai sees it as a way forward starting the game. Whether we agree with that as a collective or not, I think that's probably the reason why, because the club have gone, yeah, we need to get some width on that left hand side for natural width, and maybe playing Matson there is the solution. A lot of people have said that too, but Unai hasn't started with that. I'd say we'll see it from 65, 70 minutes tonight, though. Two of them on the field and Matson probably playing from the left hand side. And let's just hope that we're 1-0, maybe 2-0 up at that stage, and that we have a clear pathway to victory. You know, if that makes sense, making those changes.
Yeah, I just can't see it in any stretch of the imagination. Are we 2-0 up at any stage? I just think there's goals in them, there's goals in us. They're weak at the back. Collectively, they're weak at the back. I think we'll score. I think they will too. I think this is going to be something like a 3-2. That's what I'm predicting tonight. 3-2 Villa. Before someone jumps on me.
I'm a bit more optimistic. I'm optimistic tonight. I'm a bit more optimistic.
More optimistic than getting 3 points.
No, but like I don't think we'll concede 2 goals. I have it in the back of my mind tonight's going to be a 2-0 Villa. Could watch me be fucking wrong. I just mentioned Shad, Vissa and Buemo up top. Like, it's brave to say that we would score, that we would keep a clean sheet. And what evidence do I have to go on? Absolutely none. I just don't know. I have a good feeling about tonight. Then again, I had a good feeling about Juventus as well. And arguably, we played Juventus off the park for good parts of the game. We just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. So I'm going to go with 2-0. Why not? When have we ever been right in this game? When have we ever been right? Put in your scores there, guys, and see what we'll do the rundown in a minute. I think one thing I want to say, actually, there's 2 things I want to say. I want to say happy birthday to the greatest man to ever lace up a pair of boots, a man that we were lucky to interview on the 3rd of February this year, just gone. The wonderful, the deity that is Paul McGrath. It is his birthday today, so do it for Paul, everyone. If you don't want to win it for yourselves, win it for that man here behind me. Win it for Paul McGrath. And secondly, I'm going to tell a little funny story. I was walking around Tesco's yesterday, and here in my local town in Oranmore, and I want to apologise. If there's a man that was watching, that walked past me, I had my headphones in and they were really loud, and I could have sworn a man turned around to me and said, "Up the Villa." Now, I'm only about 70% sure. So I turned around and I smiled, and I don't know whether I made his life incredibly awkward or whether he was wondering, what the hell is this fella doing? Or whether he walked away going, ignorant prick from the podcast didn't bother saying hello to me. I don't know if... So, to that man, if you are watching, I either made it incredibly awkward for you, or else you thought I was incredibly ignorant. But I was kind of going, if I go up to somebody and just go up the Villa back to them, will they call the people in the white coats? So it was one of those moments whereby I was walking to get some cheese, and you don't expect up the Villa out of nowhere. So I do apologise, and plus, not especially when you've got the headphones in going 90 to the gallon. So and if that
Neil,
is,
back to more
if you are that
serious
person,
matters. Back to more
if
serious
you're that person,
matters.
make yourself known to me, and I'll give you a hat.
We have a rather inexperienced referee on the pitch tonight, which might not necessarily be a bad thing.
You won't have been corrupted, Paddy, as you would say. I'll get the C word in there for you, Paddy.
I never use that word, did I?
Will we play back the Juventus one?
I don't think I use that word, because I have written up here, do not say corrupt.
Say.
It's written up here in big letters up over my computer. He's only refereed 2 Premier League games. 1 home win and 1 draw. So that sounds good so far. If he don't, if he sticks to that, it means we won't drop points. I can't see. Does it give the fixtures? Oh, it does. He refereed Ipswich versus Crystal Palace and Leicester versus West Ham, I think. Something like that.
Okay.
Anyway.
We'll take it. We'll take
it. His penalty average is 0.5 penalties a game.
There we go. So we're going to get half a penalty. We need 1.5 to score at the moment, but we'll take half a penalty. Let's go down through the scores. So Evan S is going with 4-1 Villa. Paul McAllister is going with a tight 2-1. AXP is going with 3-1 Villa. 1-all says Jason O'Brien. Brendan Townsend is going with 2-0. Richie Ryan 3-0. And Jay is going for 2-1 with David O'Dwyer going for 2-1 also as well. Dermot Byrne going for 2-1 in a tight game. Jason is in there again. Junior is going for 3-0. 2-2 says Leslie Pace. Brendan Miller is going with 2-1. Audrey Lynch is going with 2-1. Chris Swan is going 4-3. Max Hunter is going with 1-0 Villa. Where else are we? Jordan Levy's going with 3-0. Lee Roberts is going with 3-1. Evan S is going 2-1. Tyra Roblox drank the same Kool-Aid as me today. She's going with 7-0 to Villa based on the FPL team. I love it. Aaron Cunningham is going with 2-1. 3-0 says TJ. Jason was there already. Terry Turner is going 4-1. English Richard Parks is going with 5-3 Villa. I definitely take that. Michael Smith is going for 2-1. 3-1 says Dicko. Rob Henry 2-1. Kenneth Hewitt 3-1. Flange is going 2-0. Mark Wood is going 4-1. JP's going 1-all. Vanessa's going 2-2. 2-1 says Zool to Brentford. 1-0 defeat says Dennis White. Cat Cannon's going for a 4-4. I wonder, will they talk about a 4-4 Villa Brentford game as much as they do about Liverpool, Newcastle? We'll see if it turns out that way. Kevin Newey is going for 2-1 Brentford. 6-1 says Paul S. Andy Hilly is going for 2-2. Western Oud is going for 2-1 Villa. Sai is going for 3-2. Adam Slack is going for 1-0. Good to see you, Adam. I wonder what time it is. It's probably a decent hour in wherever you are in the world at the moment, Adam. Good to see you. Neil Andrews going 3-1. He's where? Los Angeles?
He's in Los Angeles,
at 8 hours. Yeah, sure, it's 11:30. Yeah, sure, it'll be kicking off by midday over there. You'll be fine. Neil Andrews going 3-1 Brentford. Kieran Callahan's going 3-1 Villa. Karma is saying a filthy smash and grab off Kamara's nose. Will you change your name to Kamara, baby? Then I won't have to stop myself every time I'm trying to pronounce your name. Richard is going 4-3. James Frankham's going with 3-1. Dreamy Villain is going 3-0. Ronan Ward is going 3-1. And last but not least, Ty is going for 4-2 to Aston Villa, the Villa boys from Aston. Yeah, look. We've got one in here. Ariane is going for 3-3. As well, and Emma Wood will finish off with the lady, and she's going with 1-0 for Villa today. So
shout out to Mark and Emma who are at home nursing the lurgy, and I hope you get well soon.
Yeah, get well because you'll be there otherwise.
That she was alluding to there.
Yeah, not at Villa Park tonight.
I have counted 8 people tell me they're missing the match tonight because of COVID. 8 different people.
Really?
So it could be quite empty there tonight. Maybe Birmingham is getting the COVID influx very early this Christmas.
Yeah, get out of the way. Right. I am optimistic. I'm going to be watching it here, and we'll be back with a post-match podcast. As always, if we lose 3-0, I'll have to bar Paddy from the podcast, but, that's just the way it goes, especially if we lose to 3 penalties, all given by VAR. But I'm only joking, obviously. We will be back with a post-match podcast directly after the game, so the game doesn't kick off until 8:15. So we've got quite a lot of time. We've got 45 minutes to go before kickoff. And that means we won't be finished till 10:10 British and Irish time. So, so go for a little snooze there for 45 minutes so you don't miss the post-match podcast afterwards. And we'd be delighted to have you and anyone you want to bring with you at that time as well. But thanks a million to everybody who watched today. We got up to about 700 concurrent viewers as well. It's we used to get about 1,000 or 1,100 on the Team Sheet Tantrum, but then Villa started doing their own Team Sheet Tantrum at the same time. And to be honest with you, Kate Tracy is probably better at this crack than we are. So, I would
better looking anyway, Neil. That's for sure.
Alan McAnally's better looking than me, so I can definitely live with that. But so thanks a million to everybody for watching, and Also, if you listen on the audio podcast, thanks a million for that. Give us a thumbs up on your way out. And if you aren't subscribed to our audio podcast, do it anyway. It doesn't cost you a penny. And same with here on YouTube. And if you're watching on X, Twitter, or whatever, wherever you're watching it, go give us a follow. Our subscription on YouTube costs you nothing and just kicks us off in the algorithm. But thanks very much, everybody. Here's to a great evening, or what we hope will be a great evening, an even better result. And we'll see you for the post-match podcast. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.